Hello. So how are y'all doing? I'm good. I'm good. Um, I've got some stale bread. I'm taking down to, I don't feel so guilty about it now because I know these little cats that live in this dumpster down here. Like there's a small herd of them, maybe 5 or 6 that hang around this one dumpster. So I'm gonna put the bread in the dumpster, and cats do eat bread in Bulgaria. I know ours seem to be finickier than that at home. But what else is going on? I've decided I'm gonna try to hustle down and catch the bus into Popovo this morning. My stuff, I don't have anything pressing to get done at home. I got my party all cleaned up and everything's okay if it rains a little bit. But I've got a few things I can do in town, and it's always fun to go in. And tomorrow a friend is going to give me a ride from Popovo over to the Black Sea coast. We're just a couple of hours from the Black Sea. That's water that doesn't get warm like our water does in the Gulf of Mexico side of Florida, especially. The Atlantic doesn't get as warm, but the Gulf of Mexico side of Florida gets quite warm. This water tends to run cold, but it's a beautiful coastline, and Varna is a very popular tourist destination, growingly so. That doesn't have as much appeal to me, to be honest, but I do like the idea of being able to meet more people. And there's a group of almost 40 women that are mostly expats from all around Bulgaria, who it's like a growing group who get together for just a bit of fun and frolic for a few days. And they've got this all-inclusive hotel that's really affordable by our standards for this. And last time it included the beer and wine, and they had quite a party. I don't party so hard like that anymore, but I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, things are coming together. You might have seen where my arrangements in Ireland are starting to fall into place. I was getting a little bit nervous because it is much more expensive there than I realized. I picked it because it felt like it would be kind of a culturally friendly place. I'm very curious about Ireland's journey culturally, and also look forward to just being in a place where I can speak my language with everybody. I love learning a foreign language. It's been a long few years in terms of, just having to pick your words carefully, talking slowly, being around lots of different cultures. I'm trying to be culturally sensitive, all of these kinds of things. And to take out the variable of the tediousness of trying to speak English extra slowly and carefully is a welcome change. Now, I might have a hard time understanding them, but I think they'll probably do pretty well understanding me, because so much of our American media goes out around the world. But anyway, it's a beautiful day in Vodica. I hope you're good wherever you are. Yeah, heads up, all hands on deck. The threats are very real to democracy and to our Constitution. So my heart's with you, and so are my efforts. Y'all take care. And just to show you a bit of my view, do you see that swallow swoop across there? The swallows are tossing themselves about. And this is where we're headed. When I get right about here, I can smell the cows. There's cows over there. I came to recognize that very specific smell. Ooh, I can see them. I don't know if you can see them. When I lived in Switzerland, there they are, I believe. In my early 20s, there were cows on my walk from my, there's a snail bod. Here's another little snail bod. Hi, buddy. Oh, tucked his head in. And this is the dumpster where the cats hang. Oh. Did you hear that? I think that was a cow. You might have seen me visit with the donkey up the way. Any kitties in here this morning? Sometimes they come leaping out. Nope, it's too wet. Okay, I'm gonna toss my bread on the top and they'll show up. Good morning, friends. The sun's coming up over my left shoulder, but look at how it is reflecting off of those clouds over there. How beautiful is that? Friends, this is where the bus turns off of the main road into Popovo and circles up and goes through this other adjacent village called Kovačevic. And it just makes a loop through here. It doesn't have to turn around and come back out. How beautiful is that? Those are beehives. They don't seem to be active. That might be someplace where someone manages them, but I did hear some very alarming news the other day about one of the larger bee places here locally that suffered a lot of collapsed hives, it sounds like. And I was so excited that they were thriving a couple of years ago, because that is a big problem around the world. And if you're not aware of it, please educate yourself. In some places like Japan, they're having to hand pollinate things. So this use of weed killers and just ignoring the warning signs has some real big implications. So forewarned is forearmed. By my travel standards, from what I've seen in developing nations, this is actually a little bit of an expensive bus ride. It's around $1.75 or so, but I really like to support it for environmental reasons, obviously, and also because I want it to keep running. I want the people in these villages to have access to the town, and so I think it's important to support our local transportation when we can. Some days it's very full, some days there's only a handful of people on here. I like it both ways. I like it when there's lots of people on here. I like to watch their interaction. I like to listen. Oh, my hair is funny. Listen to them speaking in Bulgarian and try to understand. It's gorgeous. Have a good one. It'll be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. This is a new fountain, little outdoor cafe. Right here at the bus station in Popovo. This is where I get dropped off. It's really been quite upgraded since the first couple of years that we were here. It's confusing when you're not, when it's new to you, because all in Cyrillic, but you can figure it out. Friends, if you're traveling across Europe, and especially in the Balkans, you might not initially recognize that that's a farmer's market because it's under a shaded area. But if you can, I don't know how well you can see up in there, but it's actually quite a deep farmer's market with a lot of selection many days of the week. And by selection, I don't mean a wide variety. I just mean quite a few people offering their wares. The selection is rather minimal compared to what we're used to at home. But I'm cool with that. It's because it's local grown for the most part, or not coming from terribly far away. This place is pretty fun. So I walked past this many times before I realized that it was a restaurant. And now I know, and it's still kind of not super obvious sometimes, but that little white sign right there lists like the day's menu. And I've never really stood across the street and looked at it. I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it, but it Could be. But this is the part that just made me crack up. So now I can read that. And I had to stand here for a second to sound it out. But it says snack bar. Snick bar. I just never, perceived that. I'm usually walking on that side of the sidewalk. So many things to learn and see. And down that way is back where I just took you by the produce market. And up this way, look at how much pedestrian area there is for such a small town. But this is my favorite hardware store along the corner here, or one of my favorites. I like the places where the people are friendly and helpful, I'm old-fashioned that way. Keep your conveniences. Give me the relationships. When you've been living abroad for a while, you kind of get used to the cute little details. But look at this thing. It's so adorable. And you can put hot chili pepper or lemon juice into your soup. And I ordered a slice of bread with my food. The lady sitting at the table with me, I was looking at this, this means, and good for Nora, right? Smart branding. But otvoreno means open, and let her help me now. Come on, Rhonda, you're on video. And zotvoreno means closed. And there you go. Look at that here. The lady that joined me at my table, I'm being respectful. I don't want to point the camera right at her. But I could tell when she came in that she wore clothes like I had seen when we were in Turkey. Her pants are their style. Her headscarf has the like beads and dainty like crochet around the edges. So pretty. And I know there are quite a few people that live here that are from Turkey. There's a lot more to learn and understand, but I like how they share tables there, and I like when I engaged her in conversation. Like, I don't speak much, I just kind of asked her if she was from Turkey, and she said yes. And then she asked me where I was from, and I told her America, and then tried to explain she kept talking, but I only understand a little bit. So she was helping me read that sign, which is so sweet. I just found this inside on the wall. I have a feeling this might be right here on this street. It was done in 1962. How cool is that? This is where I like to come and get chicken soup. Cool. This is how they do it. It's how they keep the messy job. How they keep the flies out. Okay, so what other kind of mischief we're gonna get into today? I think I'll stop by a little hardware store. Okay, well I just left that little hardware store, and there is a rack of used clothes right there, where the items were 50 cents a piece. So I picked up 2 nice pieces of denim, a little jacket, and a pair of pants. Not that they'll fit me, but I'm going to gift them to my friend who's making these amazing, she's a really high quality seamstress, and she's making beautiful tote bags and things out of denim, and I have great admiration for her. So it'll be kind of fun to gift her those 2 things, because I think she can put them to good use. And now I'm going to head, I shouldn't be jaywalking. That was just kind of a dumb move. Don't want to be a rule breaker. But now I'm heading to the dentist's office to see if they're open, to see if they might be able to work me in today, because I have a broken filling. Just to give you another little look around, I kind of walked to the main pedestrian section that has all of the little coffee shops along there and places that you can sit at, outdoor cafes. This is where it opens up really wide. Again, this is the town of Popovo. It's about a 10 or 15 minute drive from our village. You could walk it if you absolutely needed to. It's an uncomfortably far walk for me, and along a kind of a busy thoroughfare. But we've hitchhiked it before. It took a bit for someone to pick us up. A Polish lady finally did. But look at how wide open this is, how spacious it is. Look how many people are out Give me beautiful sunshine. I love it here. Friends, if you've not seen this before in my earlier posts, this is similar to our obituary section in the newspaper. This is where people post remembrances of those who've passed. They do it typically multiple times, not only when they're immediately passed, but again at certain intervals. So it's very interesting. Look how sweet that is, friends. And I did find a lot of different dried herbs. I was looking for dried lavender. Yeah, this is what it looks like from the outside. I think it's so good to support little shops like this. See, they're promoting a family bee farm since 1986. Bio in Europe means like organic. Sorry. And they have different kinds of nut butters, different kinds of shampoos that's made from nettle and from propolis, which is a bee product. This is stuff that bees use to stick their honeycombs together. It's got a lot of incredible properties. Oh, look at that big thing of lavender floral water for about $3. Yeah, so nice. So friends, if you don't know, if you come to Popovo, this is a relatively new shop. Ryan told me about it. They have lots of great things in here. They have, you can see beeswax, a lot of different natural products. Look at how beautiful it is. I'm so impressed. All kinds of nice things. Yeah, you really have to come in here and explore. This was what first excited me when I found some bulk lavender. Sorry. And the lady's very friendly too. Like, I call things everything shops, but I've never seen anything that's as much of an everything shop as this place. And I'm always looking for a reason to buy something from this guy, because it's just so, there's often like a line that comes out the door, and it's a very cramped space with just, here you go, there's a line right now, with every kind of possible gadget imaginable. Incroyable. So amazing. By one of my favorite thrift stores in town that got some really good prices, like around $3 for their jeans and stuff. And they sell beautiful little hankies sometimes for very little, and I'm gonna turn some of them into lavender sachets. But I just pulled out my camera because I wanted to show you what's on the front of this rack. Yep, Los Angeles. Honestly, you know, you see signs of American love all over the place. Right down here, there is a very tempting. So all I grabbed in there today, I paid like $1.50 for this. I'll wash it good, but I'm gonna tie it into one of my wooden chairs, because you know it's all about trying to make my little place more comfortable. And some people will find that bit of lower back cushion very helpful for comfort. So I'm happy to score that. I came to share the experience I just had, because I've come in here before to set an appointment, but they were too busy. This notice tells you to respect that there might be a patient in treatment, right? These are the, this is the list of prices right here. And this, you know, it's in Sierra Lake. It wouldn't be useful for a lot of people, but my background is dentistry, so I'm going to be able to get a really good sense of this. And I also have a pretty good idea of how much treatment my tooth needs. But he just made me an appointment. Bibbidi bobbidi boo, just like that. Next Friday, easy peasy. They do only accept cash payments, so I need to come prepared for that. But in fact, I'm going to go back in and take a screenshot or take a photograph of that sign. But that's how well things can go. Friends, if you come to visit Popovo, look for this place. If you are like into handmade textiles and such, this is a very special little shop. She has several kitty cats sitting around. So there's a kitty cat, kitty cat, kitty cat, kitty cat. But she also has these beautiful handmade Bulgarian products. This particular piece is 43 leva, so that's like $25 or so. Looks like it's a round tablecloth with hand-done edging. Oof. Then over here you have the traditional loomed fabrics. You'll find these on certain restaurant tables. They're beautiful. That one is 13 leva. They're just really, really nice and so soft. I would offer these on my online store, but I don't know how much shipping is costing these days. These tariffs are kind of putting a cramp on my style. Merci, huh? Merci. Not really sure what I want to eat today. I've ate too much the other night at my fiesta. I don't mean I ate too much like I was worried about the calories or anything, but just a little much for my digestion to handle. See, they open today. Yes, they are. This is kind of like a cafeteria place, and the value is really great. It's a little challenging, but it's fun. Friends, just to share, I got this yummy, I can't even know what we call it. It's kind of like a flan, you know, and some potatoes and some fresh cabbage and carrot salad and a plastic bottled water. But yeah, I'm thirsty and I need to drink water and I don't have it with me. And all of this together was $4.75. So that's about $2.50, just to give you an idea of the possible value here. You know, one of the things about being an international traveler and living like this is you really come to understand that people do not necessarily realize how different things are for you, and how it might not be so obvious how things work if you're not from there. And this can create a rub, because the person who's struggling to try to figure things out can often feel frustrated because the others feel frustrated with them, and it's already a bit embarrassing. So that's a challenge of an international traveler. It's part of the reason why people do flock to the same places, where hospitality caters more to international travelers, because it's more comfortable for them. But truly, where you're going to find the best values and where you're going to find the most authentic experiences is where you're willing to put yourself out there and just kind of muddle through it and try to keep your smile. But I think the biggest lesson for us to take home with us is that we don't want to be the grumpy person on the other end. I don't think, you know, to the foreigner, to the immigrant, to the whomever it might be, who might be having a hard time figuring out how things work where we are. You know, there can often be that attitude when you have to answer the same question all day in a job. It's like, why don't they read the sign? You know, like, there's a big sign. Well, you know, there's a lot of different reasons why somebody might not read the sign. They might not see it. They might not be able to read it. They might, like, there's a lot of different reasons. Like, maybe it's not put in a great place, you know. But I guess my main point is the more we can be patient with one another. I've been to this cafeteria several times. Today probably went the easiest because there were fewer people there. It was less intimidating. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how it works, like where you ask for what and how they expect you to do it, and how to recognize when they're asking you if it's for here or takeout. They measure the portions by grams. A lot of them, some things have the portion marked, and like the price is per portion written in grams. Anyway, it can be kind of complicating. It can require a lot of patience. The most important thing, I think, is don't carry a chip on your shoulder. Don't be looking to be annoyed with people who get annoyed with you, because they may just not know any better, and that comes very naturally to them, that everybody that comes in that doesn't speak their language is an aggravation, you know? Have a good day. I just finished having my lunch and just walked down the stairs and saw this fun little thing. If you're gonna ride a motorcycle, I guess it's a lot nicer when you got all that around you. Okay, back down into town we go. get right about here. I can start smelling the coffee. It smells really good. I think it's coming from this little place over here. Oh, some twins. Or they grind it up fresh in that shop right there. I think I might stop at one of these places and have like a coffee or a dessert. So like I've spoken about before, what I really love about Popovo is how small and walkable it is. I have an hour and a half until my bus goes back to the village. This shop behind me, for people who like to buy new fashions, there are fashion spots where you can buy new clothes. But I have an hour and a half. And in Popovo, when you're on foot, that's really quite a bit of time. So I was hemming and hawing whether or not I would go down this one street, get out of the middle of the street, and go down to where there's a secondhand shop that sells tools and sort of appliances, small appliances, that kind of thing, you know. But I don't really have the energy right now. I think I'm just gonna meander down this way back through the heart of town to the shady pedestrian area. Parking isn't so easy in Popovo. It isn't so designed for cars. It's more designed for pedestrians. I like that. Definitely lots of fun things for the kids to do in Popovo. You have your hero statuary, your kitty cats. You can walk down the main pedestrian area, or you can like step over here if you want to be a little less conspicuous. Up here. This building over here is called the, I had a hard time with Chalitza. I believe it's like the municipal building where they have the library and where traditional folk dancing goes, and there's a plaza area in the front over there somewhere. I've watched it before. And this is the same hill. We're up at the top of it. You can see the primary Orthodox Christian church. And then there's another one down that way. A couple of places like this here. It's basically the equivalent to their fast food chain. It's got a food window there. Got some donuts inside. You can get like just a slice of pizza or some different things. Quite affordable. Your donut kebab, kebab, donut kebab. Kind of like what there's a bug in my hair. Get out. Kind of like what we would call a gyro, a gyro at home. A doner, if you're not familiar with doners. Very popular in much of the world. Look at this. What you got going on there, huh? What you got going on there? Okay, friends, I'm sitting in my favorite little spot in the corner of this like little, not sure what we would call it at home. It's kind of like, it's at the bus station. You can get sodas and snacks and beers here, but probably how he makes the most money is from like sports lottery kind of tickets. You know, I think that's what this is advertising behind me. But there's like an electrical outlet over here, and when I need juice on my phone, he lets me come in and use his electricity. So I like to give him business, and I'm comfortable over here in this chair, even though it's typically men in here, and they kind of look at me curiously. But the shop owner is very nice and friendly with me, so this is where I usually spend, you know, the last little bit of time before the bus comes and relax. And today I've got my cherry juice, and I'm eating my second dessert. Just some I don't know, not good for me stuff, but tasty. And yeah. Thanks for coming along to Popovo. It's a wrap. Bye.